So yeah, so it burps and it just don't want to stay running. I gotta do a compression test. I'm gonna do a compression test, but the fucking battery's dead. It's like one thing after another, you know. I'm trying to figure this out to figure that out, and something goes wrong, but it's really frustrating. So the battery's dead. I don't have a trickler, so I'm gonna do a compression test, make sure none of the valves are fucked up. Who knows? Anyways, let's do a little backstory. So I had it remote tuned by Red Zone Tuning from Jeremy. Did an awesome job. He tuned it. It was running badass for like about a day and a half. Drove it to work. You know, I want to get all the bugs worked out before I end up going down to 2.5 hour drive to get the tune on that one Friday. But I went to work. It died. It couldn't get started, and I had to tow it back home. So this is where it's been sitting. I've taken off the turbo. Did drop the oil line. I did drop it down more. Thanks for those guys that pointed that out to me. I got that done. So yeah, fuck, it's frustrating right now. I thought it was the map sensor, so I replaced the map sensor, still with no results. Same thing. What else did I do? I basically took all the piping off, like I said, put it back on. My next step is I'm gonna go ahead and run a compression tester once I can get a battery trickler, get this battery charged up. It'll probably be till I get paid because I'm broke right now, so I gotta buy a battery trickler to get that charged so I can run this compression test. As for, you know, I can't even keep it started to check out if there's any leaks in these couplers right now. I'm hoping it's not the valves, but it is. If it is what it is, you know. I go ahead and pop this head off real quick, and good thing is with Fiera, you could buy individual valves that are only like 25 bucks a piece. So if there's something wrong with that, I can go ahead and put those new valves in, pop the head off, of course. But I got to get this compression test ran, so it'll probably be a week or two before I get this compression test ran. It's just gonna sit here for a minute. If everything comes good on the compression, then I'm gonna start taking off the throttle body, make sure this gasket's good, pull the intake, check the intake gasket, and just probably take everything off and reinstall everything. I guess instead of waiting for a compression test, waiting for a battery trickler to get this battery charged up to blah 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 whatever, I could go ahead and pull this throttle body, pull this intake, and I can see the valves to see if they're seating good on there, and I could do the same with the exhaust manifold. I don't know, I'm to the point where I've been fucking with it for a couple on my weekends and with no result. I'm just like to the point where I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do nothing to it. It's bringing my motivation down, I guess you could say. I'm frustrated. I mean, yes, we'll get it fixed. It's just getting there. It did, when I was getting a remote tune, he did mention something about check my ground on my valve cover, because it said something about the harness ground was causing 100% boost or something like that. So I went ahead and checked that. When I took all the piping out, I rechecked my tranny ground. I did not have a good connection. It was painted. I sanded both sides, hooked that back up. Also the ground right here, this ground's okay, but I am also gonna redo another ground, and I'm probably gonna put a couple more grounds in this thing just to make sure it's grounded. So yeah, so work on that too. But I think at this point I'm just gonna take everything off, that way I can maybe see the valves, see what they look like. But yeah, it's frustrating. Another thing I gotta address is that fucker's bent right there, inner tie rod. So I don't know, I gotta lift it up. I just noticed it the other day. I gotta jack it up and see if it's actually the inner tie rod or outer tie rod that's bent. From the looks of it, it looks like it's gonna be the inner tie rod, so I'm gonna have to buy a new inner tie rod. I'll probably look out for a different brand instead of K-Tune. But this is not a K-Tune mess up. This is actually my mess up. I think I didn't thread that far enough in and it bent. So I'm not bashing K-Tune because it was my bad. So anyways, let's try to see where else we're at. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, it's an update. right now just for it starts, it don't run, it don't want to stay run. The boost gauge inside will read 0. It's supposed to read -20 around there. Sometimes when it does actually run for like 10 seconds, the boost gauge will drop down to 10 at the most, anywhere from 4 to 10. But so it's not dropping down to the -20 when it's on idle. But like I said, it's hard to keep it on idle because it don't want to stay running. So yeah, I mean, I even went back and loaded up the startup map that I had this on when I started it, and it was the same shit. So it's somewhere in here. I just gotta pinpoint it, everything, and figure it out. I mean, it's just about process elimination. I will probably just wait for the compression tester and do the compression test. That would be my best bet instead of taking all this shit off. But if I get a wild hair up my ass, I'll take it off and check it out anyways, because maybe this gasket's ripped, maybe something. But yeah, that's where we're at with this. So yeah, I'll eventually get it all dialed in. Like I said, when the tuner remote tuned it for a base map to get down to tune, it ran good. It ran really good. It just something's up. I got to figure it out. Got to figure out what it is. Like I said, this is my first time ever doing this, so I'm resourcing out to people to help me, and it's just got to eliminate all the little stuff that it could possibly not be. But I think my next step, yes, is definitely going to be a compression test. Let's make sure that all them valves are seating good, all the compression's good, because if the compression's not good, then there's no point in messing with anything else. Pop the head off, check the head, and see where I need to go in there. But I mean, if it's that, it's gonna suck, but it's not bad. I mean, it's not that bad because I could pull the head off here, right here. I could drop those valves in right here. I could do everything right here. So it wouldn't take that long to do that. So that's, if it's a bad valve or something, burnt valve, no biggie. That could be addressed pretty fast. So yeah, that's where we're at. It's gonna sit here for a minute until I get a compression tester, blah blah blah. So I'm just like, my motivation is just not there to do anything to this right now. It's like I look at it and I want to go down, I come down, I try some shit, it don't do nothing, and then your motivation just drops. And it's like, fuck this car, you know what I mean? But we'll get it dialed in, we'll get it fixed, we'll get it running eventually. I mean, if worst comes to worst, I tell this bitch into a shop that knows how to work on this kind of shit, and have them fix it for me. But as of right now, I'm going to try to do it myself. Maybe that's the problem. But yeah, so there's the update. We'll get it back on the road. We'll get her running again. It's just got to do it. Just got to diagnose what's wrong with it. So yeah, that's what it is. I think it's time to start working on the NA. This turbo shit's fucking, it's tedious, man. There's a lot of stuff that could just, little things that can go wrong with this, you know, small hairline crack could fuck up vacuum leak, and then you're trying to trace down vacuums and blah blah blah, where NA is just bam bam, you know. We'll see. But anyways, that's where we're at. Like, subscribe, KO day. We'll get this bitch running.